Five Nights at Freddy's the movie was a project I had been working on for 2 years. I posted a picture on social media explaining I wanted to do a film adaptation of Scott Cawthon's game, and I got a fairly decent positive reaction. As I kept teasing the film, I got more people asking how I'm going to make it and when it was coming out. I was happy with all the positive feedback, but I think that made me even more ambitious, and I may have overhyped the whole thing. I edited a trailer together to show the overall tone of the movie, and it worked as a trailer because you never see the animatronics. However, the animatronics were the big problem. They're everyone's favorite part of the game and are the thing you remember the most. My original plan was to make costumes for each of them, but that became a challenge, so I dropped it. Then I wanted to do 3D models, but none of them looked like what I wanted. Mainly, they just weren't scary enough. My final option, which was the one I chose, was to take screenshots of the game themselves and Photoshop the characters into the scenes. This sort of worked, but I wasn't thrilled with how they ended up looking, but it was better than the previous tests. The final film came out to be about 14 minutes long, when originally it was intended to be around 25 to 30 minutes. I really wanted a cinematic feel with compelling characters and situations, but that wasn't how it turned out. I co-wrote the script with my brother Colin, and I'm sure he's not a huge fan of the stuff he cut, despite most of the things ended up being cut were what I added. You can see the seeds of the film to be bigger than it came out as. The opening scene shows us the bite of 87 and sets the tone for the whole movie. I really wanted the film to open in mystery, and I needed an opening scene to show the dark tone I intended. The set was a big dining area that was in a church, and the kids were the youth group that were hanging out there. I was lucky to get parents' permission to be in my film. I also had two other actors to play a distracted security guard and a flirty big sister who was supposed to be watching the kid that got bit. The scene came out extremely well. After the re-edit, I considered cutting it due to the less cinematic feel of the rest of the film, but I put so much planning and effort, the kids were great, and my two friends, Zach and Sarah, were very kind to come out to be in my movie. Fun fact, Zach, who plays the security guard, is the primary camera operator for the rest of the film, while in his scenes, I was behind the lens. There were certain action pieces I wanted to be in the film that were obviously cut. There was a scene Bonnie was supposed to show up at the door and scare Mike, but the green screen was being stubborn. The door was used for the office door when outside, so it was very windy and the green screen itself was see-through. Another scene involving a green screen was when Mike loses power and he sees Golden Freddy. We didn't have enough lights to get the entire green screen to create the illusion Golden Freddy was behind him, but it was a pointless scene anyway. I also wanted more scenes involving Foxy. For me, he is the scariest out of all of them. The robots stay still most of the game, and then all of a sudden, here's one running down the hall. It freaked me out so bad, I really wanted to work it in, but obviously, with my lack of a budget, it could not be done. I think the biggest cut in the film was Mike's fiancée and mother, who were meant to be his motivation for staying at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza for 5 nights. Due to scheduling issues with the actress for his wife, her scenes were never finished, and I just wrote her out of the movie. She was going to make a brief appearance in a phone call, but it too felt like a pointless scene, so I took it out as well. And the mother was only in to break up the monotony of Mike only interacting with his fiancée. I wanted scenes of Mike going online, researching the restaurant at his house, and uncovering a mystery of the dark origins of the animatronics coming to life and enlarging the story. At the end of the day, was the final product of Five Nights at Freddy's the movie what I intended? Hell no. But I'm happy it's out and it still has a decent spooky atmosphere in my opinion. I'm glad it's out because for about a year I just put it on the shelf to never be touched again. That put a hole in my stomach that made me feel like I had unfinished business. Well, it's done now, and I'm happy. I apologize to those who expected more. I hope you understand and still enjoyed my final project. Now I can move on to other short films I have in the works. Definitely less ambiguous as this was.